Missouri, the governor there, Mike Parson, signed a new bill into law, and he is telling the federal government, according to Julio Rosas from Town Hall, to take their gun control and shove it. That's the title of this article. Missouri tells the federal government to take their gun control and shove it. This was posted on June 14th. And we'll note here that Julio Rosas wrote this. He says that on Saturday, HB 85, House Bill 85, was signed in order to defend the Second Amendment by allowing state gun laws to surpass, see that word, federal gun laws, and punishes police departments if an officer violates a state resident's gun rights. So when I first saw this headline and I saw that first sentence, I was like jumping out of my seats going, what? You're telling me that we have a state here in the United States that is going to tell the government that our laws are better than your laws and they actually have more weight than yours do? Well, we know that if you've read the Constitution, that the Constitution says otherwise. We have a supremacy clause that says that the federal government, in all areas where there's a conflict between federal law and state law, federal law rules. It's the supremacy clause. The federal law is supreme. So interesting now that this governor is going to say, I don't care about any of that. Here is what he says. It is our time to protect the Second Amendment. This is exactly what this bill does. And it's time to get this thing signed and get it into law. Second reason I was like, what? Is under the new law, police departments can be fined up to $50,000 if a resident's Second Amendment rights are violated. So not only is this governor telling the federal government, get out of our way, we're handling our own firearms laws, leave us alone. But also, if the police departments come in and interfere with your rights, sue them. Guess how much? 50 grand. Like that. Okay, I'll take it. All right. Governor Mike Parson for president. How about that? Now let's take a look here. He posted this on Twitter. And what's so funny about this is he was in law enforcement. Okay. He says, throughout my law enforcement career, all right, on Twitter, posted this on June 12th. Throughout my law enforcement career and as governor, I have and I will always stand for the Constitution and our Second Amendment rights. That I was proud to sign this into law, establishing the Second Amendment Preservation Act in Missouri. And what was so funny about this picture, so he posted this on Twitter this afternoon, this was back on June 12th. I saw it this afternoon. But if you zoom in on this, pretty sure he's at a gun shop or he's at a shooting range. It says range check-in and firearm rentals here. So kind of hysterical, right? They set up shop. They're over at Frontier Justice, Faith, Family, and Freedom. I love it. I love it. It makes me so happy. All right. So this guy signed this into law, range and check-in, firearm rentals, just, shoving it back in the government's face. It's outstanding. HB 85 draws a line in the sand, the governor says, demonstrates our commitment to reject any attempt by the federal government to circumvent the fundamental right Missourians have to keep and bear arms to protect themselves and their properties. Has this strapping young man signed that new law of justice right into law? Make sure that America stays on track. Thank you, sir. Missouri's HB 85 now puts those in Washington, D.C. on notice that here in our state, we support responsible, law-abiding gun owners and that we oppose government overreach and any unlawful efforts to limit our access to firearms. Hashtag Second Amendment, baby. Love it. And so, they actually have some firearms in this facility, which is nice. Here in Arizona, I haven't been to one in a while, but yeah, we've got some stuff here. Shelves look pretty full back here. So not sure if they just set that up for a Photoshop. Guns and ammo out there, pretty light supply last time I checked. So let's see what's going on with this bill. We got HB 85 here. So if you go over to Missouri's General Assembly website, you'll see this. The sponsor here was Jared Taylor, introduced this, and the governor signed it, approved by the governor on 6/12. Now, if you scroll all the way back up, this got first. What happened there? All right, so my screen wasn't sharing with you, but this was signed back into law on submitted as a bill back in January. The governor just signed it June 12th, and so I want to show you what the bill looks like. This is the summary of the bill. Okay, so here is what it says. This bill establishes the Second Amendment Preservation Act. So let's go through this. It says it declares that laws that prohibit the manufacture, use of firearms, or anything like that exclusively within this state exceed the powers granted to the federal government. So they're saying that our laws within this state literally exceed the powers granted by the federal government, except to the extent that they are necessary and proper for governing and regulating land and naval forces, for organizing the Marines and all of this other stuff. Okay, so that's interesting. So I'll be very curious to see what the courts do with that. They're also declaring that all federal acts that infringe on the people's right to keep and bear arms must be invalid in this state. Okay? Any federal acts that infringe on a person's rights guaranteed by the Second Amendment is invalid. All right? So that's big, man. And it says it includes anything that imposes a tax, a levy, a fee, a stamp, or any of these items. Anything that requires the registration or tracking of these items or their owners, that prohibit the possession or the ownership, use, transfer, or order the confiscation of these items. Wow. Paragraph 1, our laws supersede your laws, unless it's, necessary and proper for the armed services, right? If it's related to the armed services, then yours are still supreme. Otherwise, they're not. Ours are supreme. In addition to that, if you try to impose a tax, if you try to eliminate possession, if you try to confiscate, if you try to limit transference of firearms, illegal. Paragraph 3, it declares that it must be the duty of the courts and the law enforcement agencies to protect the rights of law-abiding citizens. It is the duty of the courts, the duty of law enforcement agencies to protect the rights, to keep and bear arms. Okay? Law enforcement officers, hello, this is a duty, including a public officer or state employee. No person, including a public officer or state employee of this state, can have authority to enforce or attempt to enforce any federal laws that infringe on the right to keep and bear arms. This law also specifies that any entity or person that knowingly acts under the color of law, federal law, state law, anything to deprive a Missouri citizen of the rights and privileges that are ensured by the Constitution must be liable to the injured party for redress, including monetary damages in the amount of $50,000 per occurrence and injunctive relief. So $50,000 plus an order from the court that you can't do it again. Reasonable attorney's fees and costs are also awarded to the prevailing party. The employer of the individual who is found liable is responsible for the civil penalty, attorney's fees, and court costs associated with the litigation. If the individual is found not to have violated this act, government entities may not recover under this act. Okay, so the government can't sue anybody and recover under this law. $50,000 per piece. Whoa. So I wonder how they'll define that. What if law enforcement comes in and they raid your house and they take 20 of your guns? Wow. Let's say they take 10 of your guns, just so I can do the math. Is that $500,000? Woo! It's a lot. All right. Paragraph 5 says it declares the federal excise tax rate on arms and ammunition that was in effect prior to January 1, 2021 does not have a chilling effect on the ownership. So they're declaring that. Declares nothing in these sections shall be construed to prohibit Missouri officials from accepting aid from federal officials to enforce Missouri laws. Okay, so if the feds, that's curious. They're saying that if the feds give them money, they can still take it. But what if the feds attach some strings to that, right? We talk about this regularly. Yes, we have the federal laws that are supreme to state laws. We have this system of federalism where we have the federal government and local government, state governments. And here, what they're declaring is that our laws supersede the federal laws. But the federal laws are typically not applied through, mandate. In other words, the federal government doesn't come into your state and say, you must make your speed limits this amount or something. I think this is how this works. It's an analogy. But they will say, using the power of the purse, which of course is delegated over to the House of Representatives, that we're going to give you a bunch of federal money, provided that you do certain things for us. It's money with strings attached. So if you make your speed limit in comportment with federal standards, we're going to give you money from the Department of Transportation or whatever. Now we're going to tax you regardless. So you don't have to take our money back, but we're still taxing you either way. So you're paying into the bucket if you want some money out from those coffers, you're going to play ball. So here under paragraph 6 now, the question is, well, what if the feds come throw money at them? Are they going to modify anything? Well, I guess they can't, right? Because this is now law. So if the feds send money with some strings attached, will they take it or not? Paragraph 7 says, it declares that material aid and support shall include voluntarily giving or allowing others to make use of lodging, communications, etc. So we've got a definition here. Paragraph 8 says it declares that it shall not be considered a violation to provide material aid to federal officials. So we're getting into some nuts and bolts here. Declares it shall not be considered a violation to provide aid for federal prosecution for felony crimes, Class A or B felony crimes. Sovereign immunity shall not be a defense. And this bill contains an emergency clause. All right, so let's see what some people were saying on the back end. So ahead of Parson signing the bill, we have Missouri House Minority Leader. Her name is Crystal Quaid. She's a Democrat. She called the bill dangerous and radical, of course. When people are looking for real solutions, she said, on crime, on policing, public safety, Governor Parson and the Republican legislature have instead chosen to preserve Missouri's growing reputation for extremist and dangerous laws. There that word is. The new law even allows criminals who violate federal gun law to sue our local law enforcement officers for a minimum $50,000 fine if they in any way assist federal investigations. It quite literally defunds the police and gives that taxpayer money to convicted criminals. From Minority Leader Crystal Quaid. Well, they wanted to defund the police. I mean, I don't know what they expected to happen. They're getting what they want, defunding the police. If the police infringe on your rights out of Missouri. So, wow, that's a hell of a bill. Seriously. We'll see where that goes. The courts are going to have fun with that. We'll see how long that lasts, but very, very interesting. All right, let's take some questions over from watchingthewatchers.locals.com. First in the house is Barbie Ann. What's up, Barbie Ann? Says, set up for the Supreme Court. Doesn't the Supreme Court settle disputes between the states and the Fed? So, yeah. So, yes, it can. It's got original jurisdiction, I think, for, I can't remember all of them, but there's like 3 or 4 of them. But definitely between the states and then between the feds and the states. Okay, we see that pretty regularly. All right, we've got, who's left up? We've got Cove Queen in the house. Cove Queen says, I'm late tuning in, and I missed the big, beautiful spotlight moment. Can you give us a repeat? The right to bear arms. All right, we can do it. You ready for it? All right, let's get ready for it. How do I get into it? What comes before the big, beautiful spotlight? That big, beautiful spotlight of a cat. Let's just do the whole thing again, all right? Hello, my friends, and welcome back to yet another episode of Watching the Watchers Live. My name is Robert Gruler. I am a criminal defense attorney here at the R&R Law Group in the always beautiful and sunny Scottsdale, Arizona, where my team and I, over the course of many years, have represented thousands of good people facing criminal charges. Throughout our time in practice, we have seen a lot of problems with our justice system. I'm talking about misconduct involving the police. We have prosecutors behaving poorly. We have judges not particularly interested in a little thing called justice. And it all starts with the politicians, the people at the top, the ones who write the rules and pass the laws that they expect you and me to follow, but sometimes have a little bit of difficulty doing so themselves. That's why we started this show called Watching the Watchers, so that together with your help, we can shine that big, beautiful spotlight of accountability and transparency back down upon our system with the hope of finding justice. And we're grateful that you are here and with us. Cove Queen 043, thank you for that. We're not going to do that often, but today felt good, didn't it? And I appreciate you jumping and asking us to do it again. It was a good way to start the week off. And I want to thank all of you on Locals who asked us those questions and joined in for the fun today. We had a lot of it, and we're going to be back tomorrow doing the same thing. Before we get into it, quick reminder, I am over at Gumroad now. Gumroad is a learning platform. Where did that go? There it is. Gumroad is a learning platform. I have some new courses that are available for your support, your purchase, if you want to download them. And I would really, really appreciate a review. So I'm trying to make this sort of something that I do now I'm having fun with these courses. I really like putting them together. So if you leave me a review, if you check them out and you enjoy them, that would mean the world to me. You can click this QR code. If you're not interested in any of these courses, I'm working on others for Bitcoin, and I've got a whole course. I wrote a whole book on criminal law called Beginning to Winning, and I'm turning that into a course. And I'm super excited about that because I think this can actually help people around the country. So I'd really love a follow there. Would really appreciate a review. If you could help me out by leaving me one, that would mean the world. We also want to thank all of our supporters who signed up over the weekend. We've got Rusty Marco, who joined up over at watchingthewatchers.locals.com. Rusty Macro, not Marco. Rusty Macro is in the house. So I'm wondering if that's like an Excel spreadsheet macro. That might be Rusty. Interesting. We've got Rick Paul's in the house, not Ron Paul, Rick Paul. We got Maria Tick is here. We got Maria Tick again. Hopefully she didn't sign up twice. We've got Sunset Blaze is in the house, or Sunset Blaze. And we got Patty Rod, who signed up. Thank you all for your continued support over at watchingthewatchers.locals.com. And I want to thank all of you asking great questions throughout the show today. Of course, you keep the show lively and interesting, and we really do appreciate it. So if you want to support the show, you can go to watchingthewatchers.locals.com. You can download a lot of good stuff over there. Things like my book, which I mentioned, Beginning to Winning. Download a copy of my slides that we went through today. A copy of the impeachment party documents. You can download my existence systems program or the course. There are links and other good things that we share throughout the day, and we meet with great people regularly. We've got our monthly locals meetup coming up on June 26th. So that is coming up here. What is that, like 2 weeks from now? Our last one was in May. It was a lot of fun. We just go for an hour, 7 to 8 Eastern time, Saturday nights, just kind of a quick, hey, how's it going? We all pop on here. It's a Zoom. I think we had like 30 something people on last time. And so it's just kind of a little bit fun. We're going to try to figure out some topics for this time, but want you to be there. So go check that out at watchingthewatchers.locals.com. And then, of course, I am a lawyer here, and this is our law firm. You can scan that QR code if you want to go to our website, or give us a call, free case evaluations, 480-787-0394, and we can help with anything. That's what we do on a daily basis. We love to help good people who are facing criminal charges find safety and clarity in their lives. Safety, clarity, and hope. That's our mission. And we've got a lot of people at our firm who are dedicated to helping people find that, and it is really something that we can add value to. There is a lot we can do to help people. So if you happen to know anybody in the state of Arizona facing a criminal charge, it could be a drug charge, felony charges, DUI charges, anything and everything in between, we can help. We would love the opportunity to speak with them. We offer free case evaluations, and we have a ton of information on our website, tons of information on our YouTube channel that is dedicated to Arizona law. So I'd invite you to check those out in the descriptions below. I've got a crypto channel, I've got a non-live channel, and of course, an R&R Law Group channel, where we're really dedicated to helping people piece things back together. And so we would be honored and humbled if you trusted us enough to send a referral our way. We'll make sure we take very good care of them. And that is it for me, my friends. It was a lot of fun being back here with you today, and I would really like to do it again tomorrow, if you'll have me, and I hope you will, because I'll be here. It's going to be at the same time, same place at 4 p.m. Arizona time, 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Central time, 7 p.m. for that one Florida man. And I just posted my version of Florida man at our locals community. You know, if you type in your birthday or your birth month, birthday, and then type the word Florida man or Florida woman into Google, that tells you what type of Florida man you are, or Florida woman. I did that. I posted my results at watchingthewatchers.locals.com. All right. Anyways, I digress. 4 p.m. Arizona time, 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. on the East Coast for that one Florida man. Find out which one you are, because it is fun. And I will see you then, my friends. Have a tremendous evening. Sleep well. I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.